Welcome everyone to Grow with GoGo. This is a part of GoGoGrandparent. We're hosting different virtual events every other week. We're hosting either functional fitness, which is about getting strong, or chair yoga, which is also really nice. So thank you for being here, and we hope you get a lot out of these types of classes. You probably didn't come for the classes, but we're happy that you found out that we offer them. You might have come to GoGo because you needed a ride or were curious about our other services like meals, groceries, medication delivery, also home services. So just know that when you call GoGo, you can get access to all of these things, just in case you didn't know. And with that, I'll just say I'm Cassie. I'm here every week. GoGo's communications director, and we're always joined by Adra, and she's the person who leads our classes. So I'm gonna kick it over to Adra to get us started.
Great, thanks, Cassie. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Lots of familiar faces and names, a couple of new ones. If you see looking to the side, I'm just scrolling through all of your names and faces. Good to have you here. So today is functional fitness. All you need today is a set of weights. You can get a pair of actual dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, you could use cans, water bottles, or nothing at all. We also use a chair. You can see my chair back there. If you don't have a chair, a wall would be fine. We might sit down a few times though. I think that's it in terms of things you need. But we have our move of the week. So no special prizes except for being getting a gold star student. Does anybody remember what our move of the week was for functional fitness? And you can either shout it out by unmuting yourself or put it in the chat. So this was from last week, because last week was yoga, but the week before, does anyone remember what the move was that I suggested that you do throughout the day? And I even said, every time you walk through a doorway, no one remembers. I'm seeing some faces. Oh, several faces of, starts with it's 2 words. No, it's 3 words. Well, has the word head in it.
Now it's turning into charades. I like it.
Every time you walk through a door, you're gonna do an head. No? Over. Oh, wait, Bertha, what were you doing?
I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. So overhead press. Overhead press, yeah. So maybe we'll go through this week's move of the week a couple more times throughout our session so that we can try and remember it for the following session. I know it's hard to hold on to these things in our brain, but we'll bring the move in more times today. Well, with that, let's get moving. So if I am not your main screen, you might need to go to the top right-hand corner of your computer and adjust it so that it says speaker view. Otherwise, if you want to see everybody doing the moves with you, you can always go to gallery view. And that's like a lot of little squares all together. If you're on a phone, you might need to swipe to just get it so that I'm the big picture. It's a little gray out here, so My lighting is a little bit dark, but that's okay. Let's actually start seated today. It's not usually what we do, but let's start seated today. And just rock a little side to side, settling yourself in. And then grounding both sit bones to the earth. Let's reach those arms forward in front of you and we'll circle our wrists. And circle your wrists the other way. And then interlace your fingers and push your palms forward in front of you, stretching your forearms. And then releasing the hands. Let's stretch one leg out in front of you and let's circle the ankle. Circle your ankle the other way. Release the foot, other leg comes forward, straighten it out, circle your ankle. Circle the other direction. And then releasing the leg. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see you do not need to move. You're going to make sure that you're forward towards the front edge of your chair so you have plenty of room behind you. So I have maybe a foot of space, maybe a little less than that, but I have lots of space behind me. Sitting nice and tall, crossing your arms in front of your body. We're going to hinge from the hips, so the spine's going to stay long. We'll inhale, lean back, trying not to just plop back, so move back with control, and then exhale, sit up. So we inhale, lean back, exhale, sit up. So just warming up our core here. Keep going, follow your breath. Couple more times. Next time you're sitting tall, go ahead and pause, relaxing the arms. Let's straighten the right leg forward in front of us. And then see if you can pulse the leg up. So notice how my torso stays upright. I'm not leaning back every time I lift the leg, right? So we're going to keep the torso still as we pulse the leg up. You're going to feel those quad muscles, the front of that thigh working. Couple more. And release. Other leg. So stretching that left leg forward. Again, torso stays still, so there's no movement in the torso. It's just this leg moving, pulsing up towards the ceiling. And then release. All right. From your chair, you're going to stand up and just notice, how did you get up? So just thinking, okay, maybe just do that again. Sit back down. Just stand up in whatever way feels comfortable. Notice how you do that. Do you use your arms? Do you lean really far forward? Do you stagger your legs? So we'll do that again, just one more time. Just do it your own way. So there's no right or wrong way. You're just noticing, what are my habits? How do I get in and out of a chair? Great, and then we'll come back down. Now we're going to play with different ways that we get in and out of the chair. So I'm going to encourage you not to use arm rests unless you need support. So if you feel like when we start to do these movements, these squats or chair squats, and you need some support, you can either use those arm rests or put some pillows underneath you. Bring your hips higher, and that will make it a little easier. This will be much harder if you're on a couch, because couches are usually pretty low. So just know that. Ooh, it feels challenging if you're on a couch. It'll be easier if you're on a higher surface. So you can either raise your surface with more pillows, or of course you can use those armrests if you need. So we're gonna notice where our feet are. First, we're gonna do what I would not suggest is you're gonna put your ankles slightly ahead of your knees. And we're not actually gonna stand up, but you're gonna try to imagine, how could I stand up if my ankles are ahead of my knees? So not directly under them, but ahead of them. That would be really hard. Even if you lean really far forward, your ankles are ahead of your knees, it tends to be quite challenging to stand up. So just sensing that, oh, that makes it really hard. So now we're gonna go ahead and bend those knees a little bit more, moving those ankles behind the knees. So it's not a 90-degree bend, it's slightly behind. So the heels are behind the knees. Of course, your toes might be about in line with your knees. Just depends on how big your feet are. And then leaning forward, try not to use those arm rests. Keep leaning forward to the point where it feels like your head is so far forward that your bum comes off of the chair. And then come up. Great, and let's try that a few more times. So what we're doing here is using the weight of our torso to unweight our hips, just to make it a little bit easier to move. So hinging as far forward as you can, really, so the head comes way forward. My torso is almost parallel to the earth. And then that means it's almost no work for me to have to do. And I just come up. Let's do that a few times. So ankles are just slightly behind the knees, and we're really leaning far forward to make this movement as easy as possible, right? Of course, it depends on your range of motion. So sometimes hips can't go any further than maybe having your torso at a 45, and that's fine too. But you're playing with, how can I adjust my torso position to make getting up and down a little more easeful? Does that allow you not to use your arms? Let's do that 2 or 3 more times. And it's the same thing as you go down. So we've been talking about going up, but when you go down, you're going to bend those knees. You're going to let the hips come way forward before you sit. Okay, so these are our nice, easier squats because we're unweighting our hips by bringing the torso forward. All right, now we'll pause in our seated position. We're going to try and keep the torso more upright. It's not going to be totally upright. We might hinge forward a little bit. So we might hit maybe 45 degrees forward. So we're creating kind of a diagonal position with the torso, but not as far forward as we were doing before. And then we'll stay standing, shake it off, and let's grab those weights. And again, if you don't have weights, totally fine. You can do all of this without weights, or you can grab some water bottles, cans, whatever you have. All right, let's go with some simple bicep curls. So flipping those palms to face forward, we're going to bend the elbows, hands come up. So watching that your elbows stay pretty much in place. So even though the elbows are bending and straightening, they're not moving. So I'm going to show you what we're not doing. Right, we're not swinging our arms and using momentum to move the weights, because then we're not actually using our muscles as much, we're using momentum. There's nothing wrong with using momentum, but if you're trying to find a little more strength, you're going to try and keep those elbows stable as you bend and straighten. Couple more. All right, next time your arms are in the low position, go ahead and pause. And let's do some shoulder rolls back. And shoulder rolls forward. All right, and then relaxing those shoulders. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see, again, you don't need to turn sideways. We're gonna bend the knees and go into a mini squat. So knees are bent, my torso is forward, so my torso is not upright. My torso comes forward, hips are back. From here, we're going to do some rows. We're gonna row both arms together. So we're bending the elbows, squeezing those shoulder blades together, and then straightening those arms down. We're not gonna do that many of these. Usually we do rows with heavier weights, but keeping these nice light weights. We're really gonna focus on that form. So try and keep your spine from moving. Your torso is still. It's just the arms and the shoulders moving. So the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other and down the back, and the elbows reach up towards the ceiling. Release those arms, straighten out for a moment. We're gonna go back into that position and go into some tricep extensions. So it's a straightening and bending of the elbow. So coming forward again, so finding that bend knee position, torso is slightly forward, back of the neck is long. We bend the elbows into that row and keep that row as you straighten your arms back behind you and then rebend those elbows. Straighten and bend. So here's a exercise where often I see the elbows moving around. We want to try and keep the elbows pretty still and high as you straighten and bend. But at any point you get tired, you just take a break, come on up, no problem. You might find here in this position that it's not just the arms that will get tired, but your neck or your core or your legs. So in a way, it's a full body exercise, even though just the arms are holding the weight. All right, relaxing, coming up, maybe a few shoulder rolls the other way. And we're going to now combine the row with the tricep extension. So bending those knees, hips go back, torso comes forward, arms are forward or kind of down towards the ground. Jaws relaxed. We bend the elbows into that row, and then we straighten the arms back behind us. Elbows bend, and then arms straighten down to the ground. We row, shoulder blades squeeze together, elbows go up towards the ceiling, then arms straighten back behind you. Elbows bend, arms straighten down towards the ground. Keep going. So we go row, tricep extension. I don't care how you're doing the breathing, right? It doesn't matter what pattern, but I do want to make sure that you're breathing, especially when we add multiple steps. We sometimes hold our breath because we're concentrating. So just doing your best to continue to breathe in through the nose and then either out through the nose or out through the mouth if possible. Of course, if you can't breathe through the nose, then just breathe through the mouth. Couple more. And then go ahead and release, shake it off, put your weights down for a moment. We're going to go back to our legs. We're going into a split stance where we'll do some lunges. I'm going to use the chair for support. You could also use a wall or a table support. I also suggest that if you are wearing socks, that you take your socks off or put on some shoes so you don't slip around if you're on hardwood or on tile. So I have my left hand on the support, left hand on the chair, table, wall. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps back. Feet are about 1 to 3 feet apart. It depends on how long your legs are, what's comfortable for you. I would err for somewhere in the middle, 2-ish feet. So my feet are probably more like 1 3/4 feet apart. Just depends on how tall you are. All 10 toes face forward. We're going to bend the front knee and lift the back heel off the ground. So first, just finding that stance where that back heel is up, that front knee is bent. It's just maybe a little bit of a stretch here in the hip flexor. Now we're going to bend our back knee as we continue to bend that front knee, lowering our torso, lowering our whole body like an elevator, and then pushing down into that right heel to come up. We're going to keep going. So we inhale down, exhale up. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten. A couple more times, keeping your jaw and neck relaxed. Next time you're in that bench position, doesn't matter how big it is, so you can be bent a couple of inches or many, many inches, go ahead and hold for 10. 5, 3, 2, and rest. Go ahead and step forward, shake it off, and we will turn around. This time, right hand is on your support table, chair, wall. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. All 10 toes are facing forward. Front knee bends, back heel lifts. First, we're just going to pause in our lunge. Getting used to this position. Maybe a couple deep breaths, preparing yourself for what's to come. And then we'll be going down and up. So back knee bends, front knee continues to bend. Your torso stays upright, so the torso is not moving so much in this position or in this exercise. And then we're straightening both legs. We'll inhale, bend both knees just as far as you want to go. Doesn't matter how far. Exhale, straighten. As you straighten, so keep going. As you straighten, think about pushing that front heel, that left heel down into the earth. Next time your knees are bent, we'll pause and we'll hold for 10 seconds. 5. And release. Stepping forward, shake it off. And then let's come back to those weights. We're going to repeat the same exercises we've done. So these should feel familiar. So palms face forward. We're going into our bicep curls. So if your weights are feeling light and you're going, I want more challenge, I want you to imagine that you are moving through something sticky or with resistance, like you're moving through water, or you're moving through honey or peanut butter. Just creating that resistance in your mind will increase the challenge. Right? Making your muscles act as if you were moving through something sticky or stiff will make your muscles activate more. So that's always an option, especially if you don't have weights or if your weights are feeling light. Again, watching that your elbows are staying in the same position, just a few more. And then next time your arms are straight down, go ahead and pause, couple shoulder rolls back. And shoulder rolls forward. And then relaxing the arms. We're going to go into our rows with tricep extensions. So bending those knees, torso comes forward. Again, I just turn sideways so you can see me. You definitely don't need to do that unless you want to. So knees are bent, torso is forward, arms are dangling down. We bend the elbows. Elbows reach up towards the ceiling. Back of the neck stays long, torso stays still as we straighten the arms back behind us. Then bend the elbows and then straighten the arms down towards the ground. So shoulder blades squeeze towards each other, elbows reach up to the ceiling, arms straighten back behind you, elbows bent, arms release down. Keep going. Let's do two more. And relax, release. Let's put those weights down. And we're going back to our lunges. So left hand on your support, right foot steps forward, left leg steps back. All 10 toes face forward, our back heel is off of the ground. We're bending both knees, lowering down. It's up to you how far you bend. Maybe the knees hit 90 degrees, maybe your knees are not quite so bent. And then we straighten both legs together, or at the same time. We inhale as we bend, exhale as we straighten. So keep going here. If you're finding that you're feeling really stable, you're welcome to take your hand off of the support. Of course, if it does not feel safe for you to do that, please keep holding on. Next time your knees are bent, we're going to hold. This time for our hold, we're going to do little pulses 10 times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stepping forward, letting that go, shaking it off, and then turning around to the other side. So right hand is on your support. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. All 10 toes face forward, back heel is off the ground. So just the ball of the foot and the toes of the back foot are supporting you. We're bending both knees. Again, it's up to you how low you go. And then straightening both legs. We inhale as we bend. And exhale as we straighten. So keep going. And again, you have that same option of letting go of your support if that feels safe. You might find that one side feels more stable than the other. Next time you're in the down position, we're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stepping forward, release, shake it off. Okay, let's go back to our arms. So I'm gonna do a new set of things now. So I'm grabbing the weights. This arm exercise I find gets quite challenging very quickly. So if you find you need to put your weights down, totally fine, no problem. So I'm gonna just move my chair out of the way. We're gonna bring those weights in front of us. I'm gonna just come closer so you can see. My palms are facing forward at the beginning. So pinkies are close to each other, thumbs are away from each other. And then we're going to circle those weights out to the side. I'm gonna pause here. My arms are slightly ahead of me. They're not way back here. So I'm just slightly ahead, just so you know, so you don't have to be way back. And then reach the arms all the way up and over until the weights touch. Also notice here, my weights aren't back here. They're just slightly forward. And then we're gonna circle all the way back down. So feel free to put those weights down at any point. We're circling arms all the way out to the side, up to the ceiling, and then back down. You're also welcome to do this sitting down. So you can keep going. I need to take my sweatshirt off because this is hard. You're welcome to take a pause if you ever need a sip of water or to adjust your layers. Let's do a few more. I know these are tiring. Okay, and then release. Take a little break. Let's shake it off. If you're okay with it, you're going to keep holding on to your weights. If you're tired of your weights, totally fine. Throw them off to the side. We're going into some sumo squats. So that's more of a wide squat. So toes are pointing slightly out to the side. So are the knees. So instead of your toes facing forward, they're just slightly turned out. Weights can just rest anywhere. We're bending the knees. You can let your torso come forward a little bit, but it's mostly upright. And then pushing down into the legs to come up. We inhale, bend the knees, and exhale, straighten. Keep going. Let's do 2 more. And then back up. Let's heel toe those feet back towards each other. And we're going to do those arm circles. We call this around the world. As we're drawing a big circle. Hands come forward in front of you. So again, just slightly ahead of your body. Pinkies are facing towards each other, thumbs are out. We circle out to the side and then up to the ceiling and then back out to the side and down towards the ground with control. So of course, on the way down, you could just plop your arms and let momentum take them. But I don't want you to do that. Using control to slowly lower the arms can really help with strengthening. We can strengthen by shortening a muscle. So for the most part, that's here on our way up. We're shortening the shoulder muscles, but we can also strengthen by continuing to have control as you are lengthening a muscle. And we call that eccentric contraction. If that was too much, just ignore me. Totally fine. Couple more. Next time your arms are down, we'll keep them down. Let's find that sumo squat again. Legs go wide. Toes are pointing slightly out. Arms can be wherever. You can also ditch the weights if you're tired of them. We bend the knees into our sumo squat. Then we straighten the legs back up. You might feel some inner thigh stretching as you do this. But just being kind to yourself. Doesn't matter how low you go. Two more. Great. And then heel toe those feet back together. Put your weights off to the side. We are going to sit in our chair, so just don't put your weights on your chair. The weights off to the side. And again, sit down in your chair. And then pause. Once you're seated, notice, how did you do that? How did you get down into your chair? Was one leg slightly ahead of the other? Did you lean really far forward? Did you use your armrest? So noticing, what was your habit there? And you can shake it off and just maybe walk around the room for a moment. And then be like, oh, I want to sit down in the chair. And just notice, how do you do that when you are just automatically making that happen? And now we're going to be mindful about how we do it. So sitting in your chair, let's look at our feet. We want our toes to face mostly forward, but some of us might have slight turnout, so that's okay. Toes can be slightly out. We want the feet next to each other here. So in that same plane, we're not staggered. We want the heels slightly behind the knees. And we're going to lean forward as much as we need to so that we can avoid using those arm rests to come up. And then same thing with it coming down. So my feet are about a foot apart, right? Depends on how long your legs are. Toes are mostly facing forward, but maybe a slight turnout. When you sit, watch your knees. So I'm going to show you what not to do. This often happens, is the knees start to knock in as you come down or when you come up. Not great for the body. So watch that those knees stay nice and wide, kind of in line with your feet as you come down. So there's a lot of different things to think about. I'm going to say all of those one more time. So heels are slightly behind the knees, right? So we're not exactly at a 90-degree. Our heels are slightly behind. You're going to lean your torso forward as much as you need to not use your arm rest, right? So if you're feeling really strong today, you can stay pretty upright. But if you're feeling like, oh, I really need those arm rests, think about leaning further forward. Of course, if you still need those arm rests to come up, totally fine. Also, watching those knees, watching that your knees stay out wide and that they don't fall in, right? Not ideal to fall in. It can cause a lot of knee discomfort. So in case you're wondering, our move of the week is chair squats. So let's do several more of these. I want you throughout the week and even next week when it's yoga week to think about how you get in and out of chairs and how you do that movement. And if maybe there's a way for you to play with it. Can you notice that habit that you have, that maybe you stagger one foot in front of the other? Or maybe you notice that your knees knock in. Can you notice your habits and then play with finding it to be more symmetrical? Can you find the feet in the same line? Can you find that the knees track forward? And then, of course, playing with how far your torso comes forward. Let's just do 2 or 3 more. All right, we want to create a little bit of ease when we come up. It doesn't need to be a ton of work. Although if you do a bunch of these, it might feel like a cardio workout. And then next time you're seated, let's go ahead and stay there. Let's do a twist. So let's rotate the spine one direction. Hands come down either to the side of the chair or to the side of your leg. Several deep breaths. See if you can keep your knees tracking forward here. And then unwind and rewind, twist the other way. And back to center. Let's do a quick hip stretch. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. If that's not possible, you can cross your legs instead. So either of those, totally fine. You can stay seated upright or you can lean forward. Just a few deep breaths, winding down. And then lifting the torso up. If you're leaning forward, undo the legs and we'll switch. So either crossing your left ankle over your right thigh or crossing your legs completely. Sitting tall or leaning forward. And then lifting your torso up, undo those legs. We're going to do one more mindful chair squat up. So from your seated position, planting those feet. Watching your knees so they track forward, leaning forward as much as you need to unweight your hips to come up. And of course, if you need, use those arms. If you need, use momentum, right? We're doing what we can. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Palms touch, exhale, hands lower to your heart. Give yourself a round. Awesome work, everyone. It's so great to have you here. I love that when you have your videos on and I get to watch you work out with me. So I hope you remember the move of the week. Oh, Cassie even has it in the chat. Chair squats. So I really want to encourage you to notice how you do squats throughout the day. And by squats is we do squats every day getting in and out of a chair. So notice how you make that happen and then see if you can play with it. Even if you're not going for the symmetrical, maybe you play with it by going, oh, I always have my right foot slightly forward. Maybe I can try and sit with my left foot slightly forward. So let this be kind of a fun thing to notice. How do you get in and out of chairs? And then how can you do it more mindfully? And with that, let's open it up to all of you. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, whatever you want to share, now's your time. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, Bertha, I'm seeing you unmute.
When I vacuum, now I do squats instead of bending forward with the wand.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Bertha. I love that. I love that you're incorporating good form or kind of safe form instead of bending forward and rounding the back, bending your knees and using those legs. That's wonderful. I love that.
You don't love the vacuuming, but you love the position.
I do, yes. And then it's a workout. Then you get to say, oh, I worked out today, you know, while you were vacuuming. And I think maybe Auntie Anne, you unmuted yourself and wanted to say something?
I'm just kind of fooling around.
Oh.
We can hear you now. Or maybe Oh, there you go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I really didn't have a question. I was just kind of fooling around and
No problem.
just got
Totally
this
fine.
new laptop and trying to figure it out.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad you're experimenting if it works or not. I just wanted to make sure if you had a question you could ask.
Well, I do have a question actually.
Mhm.
Is there a way I can see everybody on the screen? Yes.
Yeah, so,
How
oh, go ahead,
how
Cassie.
do I do that?
So, I just made it
Oh.
so that Adra isn't the only face you're seeing, but if that's still not working, there's a button that says view and it has like a little square, like little circles making up a square.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
if you hit that, you can go either to the speaker, so that would mean you'd only see me right now, or you could go to gallery and then you'll see all of the folks that are
Well, I
here.
see speaker and gallery.
Right. Yeah. So if you hit gallery and select that one, it should show you.
Gallery. Ah, okay.
And there you go.
Okay, now I see everybody. Okay, I was just wondering how to do that.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Adra, I had something come up for me when you were saying to just think more about how you get up and down from a chair. I realized that I think I sit funny in my chair. Like when I go to sit down, if I'm doing something quickly, I'm one of those people who might like put their leg under their seat while they're, or I'll be in like a weird position where my posture is bad, but I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm not thinking about it at all. So when you flagged that, I was like, oh wow, not just getting up and down, but how am I sitting? Like in general, what does that look like? And if I saw myself doing it, I probably would do it differently. So anyway, just wanted to share.
I love that, Cassie. And it's so true. We sit in different ways, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. So I do that. I tuck my legs underneath myself or one leg under, but noticing, do you always just do one side? We tend to have one leg that likes to do that.
I do.
Uh,
What does it mean?
Well, so that leg has, maybe there's more stretch and mobility on that side, and so it just feels comfortable to do that. And so what I would encourage you to do is to do it the other way. So mirror that movement, and you'll go,
Mm,
oh wow, there's a bit of a stretch when I do that.
right.
And that
Maybe
way you're at least
balance.
creating, yeah, some balance and
Balance it out.
symmetry. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing this. It gives me inspiration to work out at least once a week.
Great to have you here.
Like, is it
So
always
every
chair yoga and this, or do you have different? Okay.
Yeah, so every other week we have chair yoga and functional fitness, but each class is different. So I'm not repeating all of the same moves. So I might repeat
Okay.
some of the same moves. So last week we did a lot of, or not last week, the week before we did rows during our session, and we did
Yeah, I
rows
missed a
again.
couple weeks. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, no, that's okay. But just so you know, each class is different. So you're not going to be doing the same thing over and over again. Even
Okay.
though every other week is functional fitness, every other week is yoga. Each class is unique.
Okay. Okay.
And
And
then we have in the chat here our YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and watch the recordings of these sessions. If you felt like you went to class and you couldn't remember something, or you missed a session, then you can find us there.
I should have done that last week when I couldn't make it.
that's okay. You can do it. You could do it whenever you're able to. We try to post the videos within the week within the week that that session happened. So you could always go
Okay.
back and see some earlier ones. And also, just for everyone's awareness, we also have a Facebook group. I know I've mentioned it a couple times, but I really like that group. And there's just a lot of nice things happening there, sharing of recipes, sharing of stories, memories. We try to ask fun questions like, what's your favorite place to travel to, or where do you still want to go? What's a destination you haven't been to yet that you're excited to plan? Things like that, childhood
Oh,
memories. So yeah, please join our Facebook group, and you can find the link to that in the emails that we send you every week for these events. So I hope to see you all there. And
Hey,
Until
sounds
then,
good.
yeah, thank you. Until then, I hope everybody has a good rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy and warm, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.